So one of the first projects I did after I returned from my Atlantic voyage, was to refurbish the old B&G instruments. Now, some people might wonder why do I refurbish such old instruments? They are from 1986. The thing is, I really like these instruments and the computer, the original computer. I could make a whole video about that. I shall not do that now, but I'll just show you that. What I did was all of these instruments here were burned out in the sense that the buttons weren't working anymore. They had had too much sun and salt water, and they had just given up, and some of the displays were also faded, so couldn't really use them. But I got hold of some new faceplates on eBay. For another model, for an even earlier model of the system called Hercules 190, and I have a Hercules 290 system from 1986. And it turns out that the outermost layer of the faceplate for the 190 system is compatible with the faceplate for the Hercules 290 system, I found out. So I could get fresh buttons, fresh display, but maintain all the electronics of the 290 system. So that's what I've done on this display and on the one at the helmet as well. And then you can program these, and one of the things I like about this is that the user interface is really super simple. So you have one button per function here. So here you have true wind speed is 13.3 knots. This is the angle of the wind, 118. This is the course we are heading. I've programmed it to be that. And this is the tacking performance. Reaching performance. So this ancient computer came with a polar table for this boat. So I can now see how fast I sail it relative to the ideal sailing. And here I'm sailing at 78% of what the boat is able to do. The explanation is I'm sailing with one reef in the mainsail and a furled genoa just for comfort. Over here I have a parent wind speed 11.9 knots. I have 158 knots. Degrees, that's the true wind angle, and then here I have downwind performance 3 knots, and here I have tacking performances. How fast am I sailing it relative to if I tried to sail as deep as I could relative to the wind, only 50% of it. I'm sailing a broad reach here, so it's or a reach anyway, so that's not surprising. And to make sure that these refurbished panels don't burn out, I've had panels or cases here, covers 3D printed, which I'm rather excited about, and they fit very snugly. That you can't find on eBay. I think I've tried everywhere or anywhere else. So these are freshly designed and printed, and with that, I hope to be using these instruments for many years to come. I'm very excited about this, actually. So we've reached the southern side of the little Swedish island of Ven, where Tycho Brahe had his observatory in the 1600s. Well, his observatory was more in the middle of the island, really, and he had a windmill on the western side of the island, so that not a windmill, sorry, a paper mill, a water-driven mill that produced paper, because paper was hard to come by in the 1600s. And he was doing all of these observations, and he had many visitors who came and did science at Wien. So they were short of paper, so they produced their own paper. I think that's rather cool, actually. "2:25 in the afternoon, and I've just cast the anchor in front of the little harbour of Norborg at Wien. and people are enjoying the 14 degrees warm water. Mostly young people. I'm certainly not going to take a dip, but beautiful it is. Dyrehaven. With the Hermitage Castle. Good morning, Bantam shipmates. Today is Friday, 4th of June. As you see, I'm now back in Skovshoved. After my test sail yesterday, it was a productive test sail. I found a couple of issues with the running rigging that I've returned to repair today. But I thought I should end this video with telling you a little bit about my plans for this season, since many have asked about it or commented in the comments on my video about the crossing of the Atlantic Ocean. Some people have sailing across an ocean on their bucket list, something they want to do before they kick the bucket. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think for a lot of people it's a huge dream to sail on an ocean, sail across an ocean, and if one gets the opportunity to do that, it's obviously a huge experience, something that is definitely a good thing to have on somebody's bucket list. That's not me though. There are other reasons for crossing oceans. For me, it's not actually the crossing of an ocean that's or the destination that is the exciting part, although I thoroughly enjoyed the places I have visited. I discovered when I sailed to the Caribbean and back that I just thoroughly enjoy being on the ocean. I love the idea of having 3 kilometers of water onto the keel. I love the long waves. I love watching the stars, or even more so the planets at night. I got acquainted with the planets of our solar system for the first time in my life on that journey. I like sailing at night. If you sail from Cape Verde to the Caribbean, you'll have the North Star on starboard side. You'll be looking at the North Star, it doesn't move. Whereas the belt of Orion rises behind you just as the sun sets, and as the night progresses you'll follow it all the way across the sky, and it dips below the horizon just as the sun rises. You really understand that you live on a sphere when you sail at night. Plus you have the marine life, the dolphins, the bioluminescence. It's amazing. Even when you climb out of the hatch, it's blowing 25 knots, a warm breeze, and meters, 4 or 5 meter waves all around you. You can just see the white from the foam of the waves. It's so grand. I like it. I even like turning on the AIS and seeing that there is nobody within a radius of 72 nautical miles. I calculated that corresponds to an area which is greater than the landmass of Denmark. So you're alone. You're just alone. And I enjoy that. I find that the monotony that is there is helpful in allowing my thoughts to wander freely. I don't get bored because First of all, if you're the skipper on a sailboat, you always have something to do, and you're always trying to catch some sleep on a voyage like that. But it's challenging in a very positive way. I mean, I have to admit, I've never been in a real storm, only in gale force winds, but maybe a storm, let alone a hurricane, would change my view of ocean sailing. But I just thoroughly like it. I do. The one big downside of that voyage, that 13 months long voyage, was really the very limited amount of family time we had during it. When I look back at it, it was really just a few weeks out of 13 months. The reasons for that I have documented in the logbook. I will not go into it here, but for me that is just a showstopper. So this summer I look forward to spending more time with my family. Not on a sailboat so much, but in other ways. So with that said, I'll be setting out on a tour of the local waters in Denmark this summer. I haven't ever done that before because I was so focused on preparing for ocean voyaging, and it should be very nice. As you know, Denmark and the other countries around the Baltic Sea have been seafaring nations ever since the Vikings. So there are literally thousands of harbors in this area. Mind you, with a boat with a draft of 2.5 meters, you can't go into very many of them. But then you can cast the anchor and just sit outside and watch the scenery, which suits me fine, really. So that's what I'll be doing this summer. Also, it's actually quite a smart thing to do, in the sense that Europe is only opening up now with the travel restrictions, and it goes back and forth. You never know. For this summer, I think the smart thing is to just stay put. There you are. I wish you all a happy 2021. I'm sure it'll be better for a lot of people than 2020 was. And happy sailing.